High in the New Mexico darkness, the Archuleta Mesa rises like a sealed lid over the land. For decades, whispers have said something immense is hidden beneath it. So what exactly are people claiming is down there? The town of Dulce sits near the Colorado border, where highways thin out and the Jicarilla Apache reservation meets open country. It is the kind of place where distance itself can make a rumor feel believable. Long before the underground base legend took shape, this region already carried a sense of deep time and hidden layers. In a landscape shaped by canyons, mesas, and silence, people are primed to wonder what lies below the surface. The Dulce story does not begin with one official file or one clear event. It gathers around reports, rumors, and later testimony, slowly hardening into one of America's most persistent underground mystery tales. At the center of it is a claim that sounds almost impossible: that beneath Archuleta Mesa, a hidden facility may have been built for non-human occupants and covert research. For believers, the scale of the story is exactly what makes it linger. The most cited modern spark came from stories tied to a former security contractor who said he had seen unusual activity near the mesa. His account, repeated and reshaped over time, gave the legend a human face. He described restricted areas, strange personnel, and the sense that something was being moved below ground. Whether those memories were accurate, exaggerated, or mixed with rumor is still part of the controversy. What keeps the Dulce legend alive is not just the claim itself, but the way it fits the terrain. A mesa can hide access points, ventilation, roads, and machinery far more easily than a flat landscape can. That practical detail matters because the story has always been part engineering puzzle and part folklore. If a secret facility existed anywhere, people ask why not beneath a place already cut off from easy view. Another detail often repeated is the idea of layered underground levels, with human and non-human areas separated by security and technology. The image is vivid: long corridors, controlled doors, and spaces too deep to inspect from above. Supporters of the legend point to the consistency of certain motifs across retellings. Again and again, the same architecture appears in the story: access shafts, laboratories, and a sense of something operating out of sight. Then there is the question of why Dulce, specifically, became the focal point. The area already carried military and scientific associations in the public mind, which made it easier for a hidden base narrative to take root. As the tale spread, it absorbed reports of unusual lights, low-flying craft, and unexplained activity in the sky above northern New Mexico. Each sighting added atmosphere, even when the details did not line up neatly. That is where the legend becomes harder to dismiss completely, because it is not built on a single dramatic moment. It is built on accumulation, small claims, repeated over years, that seem to point toward the same hidden place. The strongest believer case often turns on the story of a secret conflict underground, with reports of biological experimentation and technology beyond public knowledge. Those claims are extraordinary, and they are also the reason the tale became famous. One reason the story persists is that it never needed perfect evidence to feel unsettling. A hidden base beneath a mesa is the kind of idea that invites the imagination to keep checking the ground beneath its feet. Still, the historical record is thin, where the legend is bold. Much of what people repeat comes from interviews, secondhand accounts, and later retellings, rather than from documents that can be independently verified. Skeptics question whether the story grew by blending local geography, Cold War secrecy, and the familiar human habit of filling silence with pattern. In that reading, Dulce became a canvas for fears already in the air. That explanation has weight, especially in a region shaped by classified work and public suspicion. Yet it does not fully erase why the mesa remains so central in the popular imagination. The most compelling details are often the simplest. The hidden terrain, the repeated underground imagery, and the way the story keeps returning to controlled access and sealed spaces. Those are concrete enough to keep the question alive. And then there is the emotional detail people rarely mention outright. The feeling that some places are too large to know from the surface alone. Dulce taps into that unease with unusual force. If there was no hidden installation, why did the tale settle so firmly here and not somewhere else? If there was, why has nothing definitive emerged after so many years of searching and retelling? That tension is the heart of the Dulce Rumour. It sits between a plausible place, a persistent story, and a lack of proof strong enough to settle the matter either way. For some, the absence of confirmation is exactly what one would expect from a deeply buried secret. For others, it is the sign that the legend has outgrown its evidence and become self-sustaining. Both readings leave something behind. The first leaves the possibility that we are looking at a real concealed history. The second leaves the question of why this particular mesa became such a powerful magnet for belief. That is why the Dulce base rumour still travels. It does not close the case. It opens a corridor of questions beneath the landscape where certainty is hard to hold and curiosity keeps walking. In the end, the legend endures because it asks something larger than whether one story was true. It asks how much of the hidden world we can really see from the surface. Maybe the answer is buried in local memory, in Cold War secrecy, or in the slow growth of a modern myth. Or maybe, somewhere under that mesa, a far stranger explanation is still waiting to be understood. Either way, the ground at Dulce still feels charged with unfinished questions. And as long as that feeling remains, the rumour will keep drawing us back to the mountain that may be hiding more than rock. Some stories fade when the evidence thins. This one seems to deepen instead, as if silence itself were part of the architecture beneath the mesa. And that is the enduring power of Dulce. Not certainty, but the possibility that a hidden chapter of the modern world may still be written underground. When a place can hold both geology and legend so convincingly, the line between them becomes hard to see. Perhaps that is why the story refuses to stay buried.